Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah if you're new here, and I am doing a very overdue July wrap up. These are all of the books I read in July, and oh boy is it a lot. So I have a vlog that is going live where I talk about 4 books in that vlog. I had 2 rereads that I'm not discussing in this video, but I still read 16 other books besides, so we got a lot to get through. The theme of the month was historical. I didn't mean for it to be, but it just is how it ended up. I break up my videos by category. Most of these books are historical in nature, but I will give you the subgenre as well. But we are going to talk about the horror read first, which was not historical. This is a contemporary horror called Chlorine by Jade Song. This is a horror about what it means to be a girl growing up and going through puberty and being. It's also a story about being the child of an immigrant and being a minority in the United States and being bullied for that, being othered. This is also about our main character who is on a swim team, and she is convinced that she is a mermaid, and the mermaidism of it all is clearly a coping mechanism for this character. And it was good. It was a 4-star read. It was chilling. It was haunting. It was, I mean, it's a little too close to home in some respects. I mean, I was a girl. I went through puberty. It was pretty horrifying, and the way that those scenes were described were so grotesque and disturbing, and it just really got under my skin. And so, I mean, I can't say I liked this in the sense that this was a fun read. This was not fun to read. This actually was very hard to read at times, but I will say this book was very effective, and the final horror element of this book still kind of haunts me, and it was super gross and awful. So I think this was a very effective and fairly good horror novel. I won't say I liked it. Does that make sense? Then we have a contemporary romance, which is the only other non-historical book I read this month, which is Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. This is a small town rivals to lovers romance about 2 people who went to the same high school or college. They had a really bad first impression and became like nemesis ever since. And they were all in all the same college classes, and they ended up moving to the same small town and teaching at the same public school. They're both in the 3rd grade. They're both 3rd grade teachers, and they absolutely despise each other. And then slowly but surely they start to become friends, and through some series of antics, eventually fall in love. And this was cute. This is a 4-star read. I liked them together. But this one just didn't like blow my socks off. But I did think it was cute. I don't have a lot to say about it other than that. We did read some historical romances, though, that I really did enjoy. So let's talk about A Gentleman's Gentleman by T.J. Alexander. By the way, I am going to spoil this book, so if you don't want to know anything, know that this is a 4-star queer historical romance, and I gave it 4 stars. If you don't want to be spoiled, skip ahead to when the book disappears on the screen. I don't care if this is a spoiler, but I think y'all should know this is a T for T queer historical romance featuring a lord and his valet, and it was so good, y'all. There are antics happening on the sidelines, but this is about these 2 men figuring things out and opening up to each other and living as themselves in a time when, one, being queer was punishable by like jail time and shit, but also being trans was unheard of. It existed, but it wasn't in popular society and or society at large, especially with our main character being a lord. and all the inheritance laws and stuff. So it was messy in that way. And I really liked this, y'all. I thought this was cute. I will say this is a 4-star read, and I will say I think there were the outside elements of the story, the side plots, the antics, the hilarity, outside of the romance was a little bit more compelling to me than the actual romantic development, because they don't tell each other their secret for a long time, and it's supposed to be a reveal. But I think you should know going in what this book is, which is why I'm saying it in a kind of a spoilery way. But I didn't think them falling in love was as convincing, personally. I then read 2 Sarah MacLean historical romances, Bombshell and Heartbreaker. So I read Knockout the previous month or the month before and really, really enjoyed that. This is about a secret society of women who basically try to get justice for other women who are wronged by men. And so they go after nobles, petty crime lords, basically men who abuse or hurt women. And this secret society of women like go after them and build evidence against them and like drop it off at the police department so that they can get arrested. And I liked Heartbreaker much better than Bombshell. Bombshell I didn't love because the guy didn't seem fully into it, into the romance. So I just wasn't as convinced. So that one's like a 2.5 out of 5 stars. But Heartbreaker was really great. Heartbreaker is about she is the daughter of a crime lord, and a thief, and he is a duke, and they end up teaming up to try and protect a woman who is fleeing her father, who murdered somebody and is after her because she witnessed the crime. So they're trying to chase after this woman who ran away so that they can help her. And so they're tag teaming. And so they're on a cross-country road trip to find this woman and chase after her and hopefully help her. And I really like this. They fall in love along the way. Again, there's a lot of high stakes in this historical romance series, as you can imagine, with the subject matter, like going after bad men during this time period is quite high stakes, but it all works out in the end, which is why we love why we love romance, period. But this one was a 4.5. This one was a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I like this one a lot. And Knockout was like a 4-star. So a solid series. I just didn't love the first one. A historical nonfiction is 84 Charing Cross Road, which is a very short epistolary nonfiction between this woman named Helene Hanff. She was is, I don't know if she's still alive, a writer from New York City writing to an antique book dealer in London, and it's their correspondence over the course of 20 years and building this business relationship of her like wanting books for cheap or particular editions of books for cheap, and the book dealer like providing those, but also this like really cute, adorable, endearing friendship between the bookshop owner and the other employees of the store and this writer in America. And they never met, unfortunately, but they have this really beautiful friendship, and it was really delightful to read. It's only like a 2-hour audiobook, so I would recommend this, and I gave it 4 stars. I read 2 historical mysteries that are part of the same series, which is the Veronica Speedwell series. The first is A Curious Beginning, and the second is A Perilous Undertaking by Deanna Raybourn. I read Killers of a Certain Age by this author and enjoyed it enough, and so decided to check out their more popular series. And this is about a lepidopterist named Veronica. She's a butterfly, bug collector and scientist, and she has a sordid past, and she ends up teaming up with this gruff guy named Stoker, and he is also a scientist, but of a different variety, and somehow they end up roped into solving mysteries together, and it was delightful. These are high stakes. She and Stoker have incredible chemistry, but the whole series is like this big will they won't they, and by the second book they haven't even like done anything or touched hands or nothing. It's a long drawn out romance on the side as well. I really liked the stakes of these books. The mysteries were fun. I gave A Curious Beginning 4.25 out of 5 stars. There are a couple things in this book. I will say that this was written in like 2016, but I don't think that excuses some of the there's like one fat phobic comment and one racist comment about using a racial slur for the Romani people, which I didn't love, and one fat phobic comment that I was like, we didn't need to do that. But other than that, I thought the story was really solid. It just had a few of those not so cool remarks in it. And I gave A Perilous Undertaking 3.75. I didn't think the mystery was as good in the second book as the first one, but I still liked the stakes and I liked the characters a lot. So I'm going to continue reading. This was just like a cozy, fun, good time. Kind of, I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's kind of like brain off, fun times only energy. And, you know, I think I needed that. Lastly, we have cozy historical. And I bet you know what I'm going to say already. I read the first 8 books of the Emma M. Lyon series by Beth Brower. So this is just, I don't know how to describe this. It's cozy. It's a cozy historical about this young woman. She's 20 years old. Her name's Emma M. Lyon. She writes in her diary, so we're reading her diary entries. And she has moved into her inherited home, and her cousin-in-law basically spent her whole fortune that she was supposed to inherit along with the house. He spent all of the money, and so this is about her like trying to become independent, financially independent, and like figure out a job or, you know, what to do during this time period. But this is also about like her making friends in the neighborhood, her having maybe a romance that's, you know, slowly developing over many of these books. They're mostly novellas, but the last 2 books in the series were more novel length, so the books are getting longer and longer, which is great. But this is just a delightful little series about this woman like figuring it out, making friends, like some silly shenanigans going on. There's basically an episode in each book that's like a little bit of like shenanigans and silliness, which is just so delightful. This was just a really sweet series so far. I didn't love the first book, I'll be honest. The first book is so short that I was just like, oh, that was it. It didn't seem like it had enough in it. It felt very prequel-y, just establishing these characters and what was going on before moving on to the second book. But the rest of the series was mostly 4 stars, but I did give volume 5 and 6 5 stars. Volume 5 is the Christmas episode. Of course, that always gets me. Anytime there's something kind of sentimental, Christmassy, I cried. It was so cute. And then volume 6, I also gave 5 stars because that's when a very particular relationship starts developing that we've been waiting for. I don't want to spoil things, but this is a great series so far. The author is working on volume 9. I need it now. But I did read all 8 in July. So those were all of the books that I read in July. Let me know what your favorite read of July was, and have you read the Emma M. Lyon series? I would love to chat about it in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video of mine very soon. Bye!